So our last speaker in the morning session is Vasili Ramanishka. Vasili has graduated from the Institute for Cryptography and Communication, and then he spent a few years in industry, and then he moved abroad to the US, where he is currently a PhD student in Kate Sayenko's group in Boston University, working on inevitably some domain adaptation, no, not at all, okay, and video analysis.
Not exactly on domain adaptation, but rather on the intersection of computer vision and natural language processing. So first of all, why do we want to combine these two different areas? These two modalities can improve each other's results by disambiguation. I think it will work this way throughout my presentation, so sorry for these switches. For example, think of texts. You can easily identify those words which are close to each other, and presumably objects represented by those words in images will appear together as well. And in general, we would like to build such models that would be able to extract the same amount of information that humans can extract from environment they observe. So right now, computer vision looks like it is toddler. Yes, we can point to objects, we can assign labels to them, probably we can do semantic segmentation, but it's kind of coloring books for children. And language provides better, rich representation sometimes. So just think of it is a bright summer day, the weather, and so on. So it's not only a matter of taste. If we can connect these two modalities effectively, we would be able to build even smarter assistants like Siri. Siri will be able to see, not only to listen to you. I'm not sure whether it's good or bad, because even in terms of privacy concerns, provide additional eye to your assistant. It's not good, but it's just a small step toward general AI. So existing approaches I can subdivide into it is captioning. So the task is to provide natural language description for given image, or for a given query, model should identify the location of object. Or it can be more similar to visual Turing test. So model should be able to answer any arbitrary questions about given image. We'll focus on captioning. Historically, over last years, Vision borrowed many models from, for example, machine translation. Initial paper, successful implementation of English, French, and vice versa translation with help of recurrent neural networks brought a lot of attention to this encoder-decoder framework, and a lot of papers appeared subsequently, and every conference we can see more and more results, and results sometimes really surprising. So this year we participated in Microsoft Research Video Description Challenge. It was organized as part of ACM Multimedia Conference. So the task is for given video produce caption, will be coherent and descriptive enough. And as you can see, data provided in data set collected by Microsoft Research quite interesting. You can see that human annotators, first of all, they describe video from different point of view, on different level of abstraction. They pay attention to different objects. So it is really completely supervised training. And first of all, we need to address several issues during captioning. Sorry, it's quite long introduction, but as I showed before, videos can contain multiple shots, so we need to capture somehow temporal development of video. And we need to decide which parts of video model we need to pay attention. And we need to also capture unnecessary information from audios, since this parallel data might be really useful. And again, language is quite different. The same actions can be described in many different ways, and depending on situation and context, we can see significantly different descriptions. So, base model is just resampling frames from initial video. We passing through convolutional neural network and then encode resulting descriptors with a recurrent network. Then it is decoded into a sentence. This approach is end-to-end trainable, and it works. It works quite good, but what we can do in addition? We can add more features, like first law of deep learning, figure out how to augment your features. So to capture small motion actions, we employed convolutional C3 network, which is three-dimensional convolutions. The network was pre-trained on sport 1 million dataset to classify sports, but it improved our results just a little bit. Here you can see TSME embedding in two-dimensional space, and it's interesting that cooking food clustered to the left, they overlap. But for example, movie just scattered all across data set. But the problem here, too close representation close to each other can be completely different meaning. In this case, it can be some video showing a racing, or it can be just description of like advertisement, just some. Sorry, A1. With dataset, every video was accompanied with label. So Microsoft Research labeled videos with categories. So we just took those categories and provided as additional feature to our encoder. Going to slide. This video is supposed to move on. Well, for some reason it cannot be played, but the thing is model can capture voice, and it is a description of this car, so more relevant description for this video would be person is talking about car instead of car is being displayed. And finally, it significantly improves our results. And what we can do with language part, we can directly address issue with different domains inside, subdomains inside of our language by factorizing the model. Because, for example, in science category, man appears 4 times more frequently than woman. And this social bias directly illustrated by this data set. So the typical sentence, man is talking, while in cooking it is woman is cooking. So, and sometimes it's really hard to discriminate where man is conducting scientific experiment or he is cooking something. So we started from pre-training our base model on the whole data set, training data, and then we just tune language model only on specific category. So since during evaluation labels were provided as well for categories, we can just pass our input video to model that produces scientific descriptions. And just as an example, you can see how different descriptions can be, even though all of them refer to car, basically car descriptions. But so it improves results even more. And in this table you can see that all modalities alone significantly worse than all of them together from this evaluation study. And here is rankings. So our team was ranked third. 2 teams that outperformed our results. One of them, they used third-party voice recognition service. They used, maybe it was IBM Watson. So they just recognized speech, converted it into text, and got better results. And another team used a really interesting thing, how we predict sentence. We try to select sentence with lowest perplexity. So instead they created another deep model that takes video and predicted sentence and produce score, how relevant to each other they are. And with this ranking, they won, basically. 21 teams in total. And it's second part of my talk today. Well, we can. Thank you. So the goal of this video is just to show you, yes, model can produce more or less relevant description for input video, but we would like to know grounding for this output. So which objects are actually important to produce a description. So can we extract this information from our base model without any explicitly implemented attention layers and so on? So again, we have just a sequence of images representing media, and we encode them, and then we go with LSTM. What if we draw all descriptors but one? So again, we take one frame, we encode it with CNN, LSTM, and then try to predict the same sentence. So we just throw away a lot of information, but probably for certain word, that information we throw away is not important. So we compute the loss between original prediction and this modified probe prediction. And then after we repeated this procedure for all input frames, we can build a Saliency map in temporal domain. And special localization can be obtained for free. So our base model is trained on these small descriptors extracted from pooling layer in convolutional neural network. But since it's simply average pooling, we can apply the same approach. It's not one location in this special algorithm frame and reproduce previous procedure. So how much information this location carries with respect to original video and word from keyword. And what we getting here, so we on this image we can see discriminative readings for all words at the bottom. As I said before, initially we selecting frames from our sequence and then selecting special readings which correspond to words. A few more examples. Again, you can see that these videos contain multiple shots. At the top, you can see temporal saliency, so the darker gray, the more salient is frame for given word. And at the bottom, enlarged frames from very top for special localization. It easily induces segmentation on shots. Inside of the video, you can see which shots actually have something which is similar to man. For example, that man is standing in the blue short, or man's hand to the right. Probably not everyone sees that, but it's good, but how we can evaluate the quality of this organization quantitatively. So we can apply the same approach as we applied for video capturing two images. So we basically scanning through image and encoding descriptors the same way. So in this case, we kind of emulate video panoramic. Is it clear? Like, and again, in this case, instead of temporal saliency, we're producing spatial saliency directly. Interesting thing about noun phrases. Slot machine should be considered as one thing, but we don't know that at this stage. So later we will see that actually we can basically sum saliency maps for different words if we know which noun phrases they belong and produce nice stabilization. These are just examples from figure 30K entities data set. And this data set has ground truth bounding boxes for all noun phrases. And we evaluated our localization quality on this data set. So here is here are examples of bounding boxes and our saliency maps. So note that the model is pretty good in paraphrasing, since we were training this model for Caption. It knows that old man and elderly man are approximately the same things. And it doesn't matter. Sofa, red couch, just couch, all of them correspond to something like to the left from this man. Here we can see that not on all categories this approach outperforms even central design. Yes, it significantly outperforms random pointing. So first of all, I forgot to tell what is accuracy in this sense. So we just evaluate how many times we pointed correctly to bounding box. So it's a number of hits divided by number of hits plus number of misses. And all these vision data sets have really strong bias into the center. So pointing to the center, you can achieve quite good accuracy. But as you can see, at least we are comparable to center pointing. And as you could see from examples, not every time we are pointing to center. And let's go back to video saliency. As I described before, we visualized video saliency for sentences the model just produced. But we can apply exactly the same method for arbitrary queries. So here model produced a man is driving a car. So basically here we can see motivation, why model produced this caption. And here just passive voice, and actually this summary looks pretty similar to initial one, because they convey exactly the same meaning. And then just for fun, a car on the sand. It localized sand, it localized car, sky over horizon with mountains. And it just selected frames with sky and something that was similar to mountains. And I also evaluated how representative this subset model provides for words, these salient frames. So if we just take these 3 frames, feed them as input to our model, and let's see how it captions them. So in 40% cases, it produces exactly the same caption. And we can continue, add more frames, and continue to that point. It finally produces exactly the same caption as it produced for initial video, and why it can be useful for summarization. So you can take any arbitrary sequence with images and videos. You can encode this sequence and finally summarize in terms of some description. That's it. Thank you for your attention and patience. I don't know why it's so strange colors. That month, or they completely different. Here in my collaborators,